Come in here after losing to a number 3 Oklahoma, gain some experience to come in here and show what kind of football team, what kind of character played. I thought they played physical. I thought they played hard. I thought they played together. They never flinched. Offensively, especially early, it looked really bad. We had 3 penalties on the opening drive. We had a muffed snap. You know, we just, golly, it looked really bad. It looked like a continuation of what we did last week. But I'm going to say the same thing this week. I said after last week's game when we lost 48-16. We are a work in progress. We have a lot of young players on this football team. We have a lot of guys that have never started, have now started 2 college football games. And we're a work in progress, and I'm incredibly proud of the way they came out here and competed tonight. I said it that way last week. We're a work in progress, and I'll say it again this week. We got a lot of things that we got to get better at. A lot of things that we can do an awful lot better. But I can't ask these players the last 2 weeks to compete any harder, to play any harder, to be more emotional, to have more energy 2 weeks in a row. And now we got a short week and we got to go play in 5 days our first conference game. We talked about the difficulty of this schedule at the beginning, but I'm just really proud of this football team that we were able to come down here and show kind of what we're made of. And we've talked about it all the week. You know, where are these 2 programs and the success that ULL has had in the Sun Belt? And I said that's why we're going to go roll the balls out. But coming in here as a 16-point underdog and doing what this team did, I'm proud of them.
Given what you just said, was this a statement win?
No, I think it's a work in progress win. It shows us where we are. I've made the comment since last January we're going to learn a lot about our football team in the first half. And I said if we come and we win this game and lose the rest of them, then I would rather lose this game. You know what I mean? If we're going to lose this game and win the rest of them, then I'd take the loss. I'm interested in seeing how we progress and how we grow as a football team. But I thought tonight was a step in the right direction. And that's why I'm so proud of them.
Coach, what do you say that ULL have tried to get as many of y'all's commitments at this game as they could, and what do you have to say to that?
I'm glad they were here to see it.
Looking from the sidelines, Coach, is there something that you saw maybe in the first or second quarter that kind of flipped the switch and they had the momentum and you guys started moving that ball on that long drive?
Right at the end of the second quarter, you're talking about middle of the second quarter when we went down there and then scored and then got it in the 2-minute, went down and got the field goal. You know, in the first quarter, it was like, golly, we had 3 penalties in the opening drive. I mean, we started with the quarterback having the cadence, and then the center said he couldn't hear him, so the tackles were jumping, but so we just went back to center, you take it. I kept going over there going, everybody calm down, you know, we're okay. Trent couldn't hear one of the play calls, you know, we had to take a timeout while he was trying to get all organized so he could get the play. We just had some communication issues early that we didn't look very organized, to be honest with you, and that's our fault, you know what I mean, as coaches, that's on us. But I thought once they calmed down, we started to get a bead, spread it out, put the ball in Cody's hands a little bit and said we're going to open it up because we just weren't able to get a running game going consistently enough. And I'll say the same thing last week. It's some of the discipline mistakes that we make. You know, it's like, oh, the guard didn't hear the call, or the tackle went the wrong way, or it's like the next thing you know, you're in 3rd and long. And in the whole first half, it seemed like in the first quarter, we were in 3rd and long situations. We kept having 2 high safeties. We felt with some of their bracket coverage, with what they did, they were very vulnerable deep. And we came in with a mindset that we wanted to throw the ball deep quite a bit early. But every time we were in long yardage, they would go to too high and it was no longer there. And so once we calmed down a little bit, started taking the underneath stuff, gaining some confidence, put those 2 drives together, and then came out in the second half and said, you know, let's go back to our game plan. Let's get in a little bit bigger personnel, run a play action pass and see if we can hit the post. And I thought Cody and Sterling did it. Sterling ran a great route. The offensive line protected it. I thought Cody threw a beautiful ball down the middle field.
Emotionally, what type of lift did that give y'all of Kenneth's 99-yard run?
I don't know if it was an emotional lift, but it was a huge play in the game. You know what I mean? Because it was points. You go from being backed up on the 1-yard line to all of a sudden it's 7-0. And you look at the first quarter, and I thought really, I don't know what the total yards were before that run, but we weren't doing much on offense, and they had taken the ball and driven the field. We took an approach in this game. Kind of last week, Southern was everybody on the line, just go get them, man coverage, and they got real blitz happy. And very uncharacteristic of Manny, which I thought he called a fantastic game. He played an umbrella back there. He didn't put a lot of pressure on him. He picked his spots to take his pressure. And said, you know what, we're not going to give up the big play, and we're going to make you earn it and go all the way down the field. And I thought he did a masterful job in this football game from calling a defensive game. So I thought, early we were bending and not breaking and weren't giving up any points. And offensively, we were sputtering. We were sputtering, trying to get anything going, trying to get some consistency on offense. But then Kenneth broke that 99-yard run, and you look back up, and you're up 7-0. Even though you're over there about ready to, kick your dog. I mean, I'm an animal rights activist on me off that comment. But I mean, you're over there angry on the sideline, and you look up, and you're up 7-0. But Kenneth is a great player. He is a phenomenal competitor, a great young man. Just really proud of the way that he went out there and competed tonight. I think there was nobody madder in that entire stadium on his 4th-and-1 run than him. And it was like, that will not happen again, Coach. And that was the very same play we ran on 4th-and-1. The play we ran on 4th-and-1 that went for no gain, it was the very same play from our own 1-yard line that went for 99.
Coach, last week you talked about the undisciplined nature of your defense and how you were disappointed in that. Tonight you faced a zone read quarterback, and discipline is of the utmost importance. Talk about how they played some disciplined football tonight.
They really did a great job. I think I said it all week, you make your best strides from game 1 to game 2. And I think for us, what made it so easy was our defense was able to put on the film last week, and Coach Diaz and the defensive staff put about 20 clips together when we did it the right way and everybody held their gap. And Oklahoma averages 2 yards a run. When everybody's doing it right. Well, then you take the 25 clips where guys are out of their gap, guys are in the wrong hole, and we're giving up, probably 12 yards of play. And the difference that it makes, and I thought that was a great teaching lesson for our players to be able to look up and go, wow, you know what? If we just do what we're supposed to do, we could be pretty good as a defensive football team. And I thought they made some great strides tonight.
You got Jared in the game. You talked a lot about him over the summer, bringing him in, and he got in the end zone. And talk about his contribution tonight.
Well, it was, I made a big deal about playing him in the opener. And then he got sick last week and was in the hospital for a couple days and wasn't able to go on the trip. So he wasn't able to play. And that's why we took Blake Martin off of the kick return, because I only had 2 tailbacks with Jared being out. But having him back this week and getting an opportunity to get him in there and get some quality reps, and he even scored a touchdown in his first college game, and I think he's going to be a special player. But there were a lot of guys that went out there and did some really good things tonight. They're just really, really proud of them, that they were able, their hard work and some of their talents were able to show up tonight on the field.
Not to be a negative Nancy, but you only had 4 receivers involved. Are you going to have to get more involved going forward?
As they are ready to play, but we've also said that, we're going to play the guys that earn it. And if we've got guys that are not playing at that level, then we'll play with 4 receivers. And if somebody gets hurt, we'll play with a tight end and 3 receivers. If 2 get hurt, we'll play with a tight end and a fullback and 2 receivers. Or some of those guys are going to come along, but I'm not going to put them in. This is not a participation sport. It's not just because you're on the team you get to play. You got to earn it, and you got to pick up your share of it. We got some young guys over there that have been working hard. Marcus Gaines is playing a little bit. Sanford C, we're counting on him to come along. Tevin King is still trying to learn the offense on a consistent standpoint. He's doing some great things, you know what I mean? I'm pleased with his progress. You got to remember, he's been a receiver for 25 days. So it's not like he's been there for 2 years. I mean, and I think he's coming along, and by the middle of the season, I expect him to be a huge part of this football team and this offense. And that's why I keep saying we're a work in progress. We'll learn a lot about ourselves through the first 6 games. And what we're trying to do is trying to keep our head down and grind like crazy for 6 weeks, see where we are at the midway point after 2 conference games and the conference standing, correct what we need to correct, kind of get some of our bumps and bruises healed, and then get ready to go. But it's going to be a quick turnaround this week with 5 days before we play North Texas, who just lined up and beat the dog meat out of SMU today.
Sean, last question.
Last year, we always talked about big plays or kind of the lack thereof.
Lack of,
and
yes.
You have 99, 78, Paul at a 51-yarder, interception return, 46 yards.
For a touchdown. How great was that with Xavier Woods?
How big were those, 4 or 5 plays, probably more than you had in one game than you had last year?
Yeah, and I think part of it, when you look at it, part of it is an improved offensive line and having the opportunity to have a tight end and a fullback and give Kenneth Dixon a chance to run downhill. Paul Turner's new. Cody Sokol through the post is new. Xavier Woods got in there. Our defense works incredibly hard at scoring. You know what I mean? When there's an interception or something in practice, I'm as an offensive background guy, it's like, whistle, dang it. And then he's like, no, keep going, lateral, pitch it, run it, go over here. Do what you got to do. That's an offensive play. That's how our defense is looking at it. And what you saw tonight was coaching. What you saw tonight was coaching, and those guys, convincing those guys when they get a ball, We had more return yards on that one interception than we did all last year, I would imagine, on our interceptions. Because last year we were content to catch it and fall down. But I think that was coaching, and that is Coach Diaz and our defensive staff and those players who've really bought into Coach Diaz's system.
Shane, last one.
Yeah, real quick. Just talking about this game overall, getting ULL back on our schedule, and maybe getting a team like ULM or just in the instant rivalry with Louisiana schools getting to play each other.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, I think it's good, especially when you can win like this and the statement that it makes and where we are. You know, we play in a very difficult conference in Conference USA. We have had a very difficult non-conference schedule playing at Oklahoma and at Auburn. I mean, those are going to be great challenges for us. But I think it's great to have the opportunity to play each other, because then you can put it in perspective for where our program is compared to some other programs in this state, and people aren't just talking about it on recruiting phone calls, but now they've got to back it up by going and playing it on the field.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.